A woman will never flat out tell you she wants intimacy. She won't send you a formal invitation with a wax seal and a dress code. But here's what most men don't realize. She's already told you. Probably more than once. You just didn't catch it. And honestly, that's not entirely your fault. According to a study published in the journal Psychological Science, men misread women's signals of romantic interest about 70% of the time. 70%. That means for every 10 signals she sends, you're catching maybe 3. The other 7? Gone. Vanished into thin air while you stood there talking about your fantasy football league. Here's the thing, though, and this is coming from a woman. When a woman wants intimacy with you, she doesn't leave it to chance. She's strategic. She's intentional. And she follows a very specific pattern of behavior that, once you understand it, becomes impossible to miss. The problem is, most content out there about female attraction is written by people who have never actually been inside a woman's head. I have, because I am one. So today, I'm going to walk you through exactly 6 things a woman will always do when she wants intimacy with you. And I'm not talking about surface-level stuff here. I'm talking about the behaviors she might not even be fully conscious of, the ones rooted in biology, psychology, and thousands of years of human evolution. Some of these are going to surprise you. Number 4, in particular, is something almost nobody talks about, and it might completely change how you read every interaction you've had with a woman up until this point. But before I get into the list, I need you to understand something critical. Intimacy for a woman is not just physical. It's emotional, psychological, and spiritual all wrapped into one. So when she signals that she wants it, she's not just saying she finds you attractive, she's saying she trusts you, she feels safe with you. And that, gentlemen, is the highest compliment a woman can give. Now, with that said, let's get into it. And pay close attention, because if you miss sign number 3, you might be fumbling the best thing that ever happened to you. She finds excuses to touch you. This one might seem obvious on the surface, but the way women use touch is far more calculated than most men realize. And I say calculated, not in a manipulative way, but in an instinctual way. When a woman wants intimacy with you, her body starts doing things her mouth hasn't agreed to yet. She'll brush your arm while she's laughing at something you said. She'll fix your collar even though it wasn't crooked. She'll push your shoulder playfully when you make a joke. She'll let her knee rest against yours under the table, and here's the key part, she won't move it away. Dr. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist at Rutgers University, has spent decades studying the neuroscience of attraction. According to her research, physical touch triggers a release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in both parties. But here's what's fascinating. Women are far more selective about who they initiate touch with than men are. A man might give a casual pat on the back to just about anyone. A woman, if she's touching you, especially in ways that linger just a second longer than necessary, she's made a deliberate, often subconscious decision that you're someone she wants closer. And this is where it gets really interesting. The type of touch matters enormously. There's a massive difference between a woman tapping your shoulder to get your attention and a woman placing her hand on your forearm while she talks to you. The first one is functional. The second one is intentional. The first says, hey, listen. The second says, I want to be connected to you physically, even in this small way. A friend of mine, let's call her Sarah, once told me she spent an entire dinner party finding reasons to touch the guy she was interested in. She touched his hand passing the salt. She nudged him during a funny story. She even pretended to pick a piece of lint off his jacket. The guy? Completely oblivious. He went home thinking she was just being friendly. Meanwhile, Sarah went home frustrated, wondering if she needed to hold up a neon sign. So here's the takeaway. If a woman is creating physical contact with you in small, consistent ways, that's not accidental. That's an invitation. And the way you respond to it will determine everything that happens next. She gets vulnerable with you, on purpose. Now, this one is where things start getting really significant, because vulnerability is the currency of intimacy for women. And most men don't understand how rare and precious it is when a woman opens up to you. Here's what I mean. If a woman tells you about her childhood fears, her insecurities, the thing her ex said that still stings, she's not just making conversation. She's running a test. Not a cruel test, not a manipulative one, but a survival test that's been hardwired into the female brain for centuries. She's checking, Is this person safe enough for me to let my guard down with? Dr. Brené Brown, whose TED Talk on vulnerability has been viewed over 60 million times, defines vulnerability as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. And here's the part that should hit you. Brown's research found that vulnerability is the birthplace of intimacy, not physical attraction, not charm, not how much money you make, vulnerability. So when a woman starts sharing things with you that she doesn't share with everyone, she's essentially handing you the key to a door she keeps locked for most people. How you handle that moment is critical. If you dismiss it, joke about it, or change the subject, that door closes permanently. But if you listen, if you acknowledge what she shared without trying to fix it, if you meet her vulnerability with your own, that door swings wide open. I'll give you an example from my own life. I once had a conversation with a guy I was seeing where I told him about a really difficult period in my life. Nothing dramatic, just honest. And instead of offering solutions or trying to cheer me up, he simply said, "Thank you for telling me that. That must have taken a lot to share." That was it. That was all he said. And in that moment, I knew. This is someone I can be intimate with, emotionally and otherwise. The contrast? Another guy I dated would literally change the subject every time I tried to open up. He'd say things such as, "Don't worry about it," or "You're overthinking." And every single time, I felt the wall between us get a little higher, a little thicker, until eventually I stopped trying altogether. So remember this. When a woman gets vulnerable with you, she's not being weak. She's being brave. And she's telling you in the clearest way she knows how that she wants to be closer to you. She engineers alone time. This is the sign most men completely overlook, and it's arguably the most telling one on this entire list. When a woman wants intimacy with you, she will create situations where the two of you are alone together, and she'll do it so smoothly that you might not even notice it's happening. She'll suggest you two grab coffee, just the two of you. She'll hang back when the group is leaving so she can walk with you. She'll invite you over to help with something she absolutely does not need help with. Hanging a shelf? She has a drill and a YouTube tutorial, but she asked you because she wants you there, in her space with no one else around. This is significant because, from an evolutionary psychology standpoint, women are wired to be cautious about who they spend time alone with. A 2019 study from the University of Texas found that women assess potential romantic partners on safety cues before attraction cues. That means if she's actively creating one-on-one scenarios with you, she's already passed you through her internal safety screening. You've been vetted. Congratulations. But here's the nuance that most people miss. It's not just about being alone. It's about the kind of alone time she's creating. Is she suggesting activities that allow for conversation and closeness? A walk instead of a movie? Cooking dinner together instead of going to a loud restaurant? If the answer is yes, she's curating an environment where intimacy can naturally grow. She's setting the stage, and she's hoping you'll step into it. I had a girlfriend who literally rearranged her entire weekend schedule to accidentally be at the same coffee shop as the guy she was interested in. She drove 20 minutes out of her way, ordered a drink she didn't even want, and sat there pretending to read a book until he showed up. Was it a little excessive? Sure. Was it effective? They've been married for 4 years now. So you tell me. The lesson here is simple. If a woman keeps finding ways to be alone with you, she's not doing it because she's bored or because no one else is available. She's doing it because she wants you, specifically you. And the alone time is her way of creating space for something more to happen. She mirrors you without realizing it. Okay, this is the one I mentioned earlier, the one almost nobody talks about. And it's honestly one of the most powerful indicators of attraction that exists because it's almost entirely subconscious. She can't fake this one even if she tried. Mirroring is when someone unconsciously copies your body language, gestures, speech patterns, or even your breathing rhythm. And according to research published in the journal Social Neuroscience, mirroring is directly linked to empathy and emotional bonding. When a woman mirrors you, her brain is literally syncing up with yours. It's her nervous system saying, I want to be in harmony with this person. So what does this actually look and feel in real situations? If you lean forward, she leans forward. If you cross your arms, she crosses hers. If you start speaking more slowly, she slows down too. If you pick up your drink, she picks up hers within seconds. These micro behaviors happen so fast and so naturally that neither of you is usually aware of them, but once you know what to look for, you'll see them everywhere. Here's where it gets really fascinating. A study conducted at Stanford University found that people who mirrored each other during conversation reported feeling significantly more connected and attracted to each other than those who didn't. And the effect was even stronger in women. When a woman mirrors a man, it's not just a social reflex. It's a biological signal of readiness for bonding. I'll be completely honest with you. I catch myself doing this all the time. If I'm talking to someone I'm attracted to, I'll unconsciously start matching their energy. If they're animated, I become animated. If they're calm and measured, I settle into that rhythm too. It's not something I plan. It's something my body does before my brain has a chance to intervene, and every woman I've talked to about this says the exact same thing. And here's why this sign is so valuable. So you cannot fake genuine mirroring. You can force a laugh or manufacture a touch, but authentic mirroring comes from a place of real connection. So if you notice a woman matching your movements, your tone, your pace, or your energy, that's not a performance. That's her body telling you what her words might not be ready to say yet. And that kind of honesty, you can't buy it. Her eyes tell you everything. There's a reason poets have been writing about eyes for thousands of years. The eyes are, without exaggeration, the most honest part of the human body. You can control your words. You can control your facial expressions to some degree. But your pupils, those are on complete autopilot. Here's a fact that might blow your mind. A study from the University of Chicago found that when someone looks at a person they feel romantically attracted to, their gaze naturally falls to that person's lips. But when the attraction is more emotional, when they're seeking intimacy and connection, their gaze lingers on the eyes. So if a woman is holding eye contact with you for longer than what feels socially standard, and her gaze keeps returning to your eyes even during pauses in conversation, she's telling you something profound without uttering a single word. But it goes even further than that. Dr. Zick Rubin, a social psychologist at Harvard, conducted a landmark study on eye contact and love. He found that couples who were in love spent 75% of their conversation time looking at each other, compared to the usual 30 to 60% for regular interactions. That means if a woman's eye contact with you feels intense, almost magnetic, she's operating at a level of engagement that goes way beyond casual interest. And then there's the triangle gaze, something communication experts have studied extensively. This is when a woman's eyes move in a triangle pattern, from one of your eyes to the other eye, then down to your mouth and back up again. This pattern is a near universal signal of romantic and intimate interest. If you catch a woman doing this, she's not checking if you have something stuck in your teeth. She's evaluating you as a potential intimate partner, and she's probably not even aware she's doing it. I'll tell you something from personal experience. When I'm genuinely attracted to someone, I find it almost impossible to look away. My eyes keep returning to that person no matter what else is happening in the room. It's involuntary. It's magnetic. And if you're paying attention, it's unmistakable. Now, here's the flip side. And this is important. If a woman consistently avoids eye contact with you, that's equally telling. It either means she's not interested or she's so attracted to you that making eye contact feels overwhelming. The difference? If she avoids your eyes but stays close and keeps engaging with you, it's the second one. If she avoids your eyes and creates physical distance, it's the first. Context is everything. She tests your emotional responsiveness. This final sign is the one that separates the men who end up in intimate relationships with women from the men who perpetually wonder why things never seem to progress. And it might be the most important thing you hear all day. When a woman wants intimacy with you, she will test your emotional responsiveness. And before you get defensive about the word test, understand that this isn't about games or manipulation. This is about survival. Biologically, psychologically, and historically, women have needed to assess whether a potential partner can meet their emotional needs before becoming truly vulnerable with them. So what do these tests actually sound and feel in practice? They can be remarkably subtle. She might share a minor frustration and watch how you respond. She might tell you about a bad day and observe whether you listen or jump straight into problem-solving mode. She might express a small need and see whether you step up or brush it aside. She might even create a brief moment of tension, not out of malice, but to see how you handle friction. Dr. John Gottman, arguably the world's leading researcher on relationships, found that the #1 predictor of relationship success isn't compatibility, shared interests, or physical attraction. It's what he calls turning toward, the act of responding positively to your partner's emotional bids. His research, conducted over 4 decades with thousands of couples, showed that couples who turned toward each other at least 86% of the time stayed together. Those who fell below that threshold, they separated. So, when a woman tests your emotional responsiveness, she's essentially measuring your turning toward rate. Can you show up when she needs you emotionally? Can you listen without getting defensive? Can you hold space for her feelings without making the whole thing about you? I once tested a guy without even realizing I was doing it. I mentioned casually that I'd had a rough week, and instead of changing the subject or offering some generic, "that sucks," he stopped what he was doing, looked directly at me and said, "Tell me about it." 3 words. That's all it took. In that moment, he passed every test I didn't even know I was giving him, and everything between us shifted. Contrast that with another experience where I opened up about feeling overwhelmed, and the response I got was, "Well, everyone has bad weeks." Technically true, emotionally devastating, and the wall went right back up, higher than before. The truth is, a woman's desire for intimacy isn't just about physical attraction. It's about feeling seen, heard, and emotionally held. If you can do that, if you can respond to her emotional bids with genuine presence and real care, she won't just want intimacy with you, she'll crave it. So there you have it. 6 things a woman will always do when she wants intimacy with you. She'll find excuses to touch you. She'll get vulnerable on purpose. She'll engineer alone time. She'll mirror you without realizing it. Her eyes will speak volumes her mouth never will. And she'll test your emotional responsiveness to see if you're safe enough to let in. But here's the uncomfortable truth that ties all of this together. Most missed connections don't happen because there was no spark. They happen because one person couldn't read what the other was clearly communicating. And now you don't have that excuse anymore. So do something for me right now. Think about the last meaningful interaction you had with a woman you were interested in. Run through this list in your head. How many of these signs were present? If the answer is 3 or more, you might want to revisit that connection because she was telling you something, and now you finally know how to hear it. But here's where it gets even more important. Understanding what a woman does when she wants intimacy is only half the equation. The other half, the half most men never figure out, is knowing what actually satisfies her once that intimacy begins. Because attracting a woman and keeping a woman fulfilled are 2 completely different skills. And that's exactly what I break down in the video that's on your screen right now. Women only want these 3 things to be satisfied. If you thought this video was eye-opening, that one is going to fundamentally reshape how you understand what women actually need from you. Everything we just covered leads directly into what that video reveals. Honestly, watching this without watching that is reading the first half of a book and then closing it right before the ending. So tap on it now, because knowing the signs without knowing what comes next is just wasted knowledge. And you didn't sit through this whole video to waste anything.